Good afternoon, everybody. I'm currently just enjoying the sun. I rolled up my window temporarily just so I can film the video without any background noise, or quite as much anyway. And yeah, I thought it would be nice for me to just take a little mental break. And, I went out to brunch with one of my family members, and the last night was kind of crazy too. We had yesterday we had a windstorm, and then last night we had a huge rainstorm. It was really dense and lasted for 12 hours, and now it's sunny. Alaska's wild with their weather. I don't know if other places are a lot like that, but it switches quite a lot. And I'm just enjoying the sun while I can, and taking a little mental break and giving myself a chance to mentally process things, taking time to myself. And the thought has occurred to me with regard to, this is kind of a follow-up to the video I posted, the short video I posted about my health and people pleasing, and the connection between people pleasing and your health, the way I have experienced it. And I was doing a little extra research to kind of come up with something a bit more concrete for my weight loss. Something, more structured that I can follow through on without the typical feeling of it being a chore, or something that you have to force your way through, because I think that's bad for your mental health personally. But I'm researching all that, and I'm trying to come up with something that is workable. And I came across some information that I've seen before, and I wanted to talk a little bit about it and do a bit of a sidebar away from the usual topic I have, which is just about what's going on politically. I feel like it's necessary to talk about that, but this is more some stuff that I'm working out personally. And the thing I came across, this information that I came across, it is showing, I've heard it before over the last maybe decade or so, that exercise does not help you lose weight. I don't know. That's weird to me, and this is just anecdotal. But it's weird to me to hear that, because when you get to a certain level of fitness, you do absolutely need more calories, and you may even need more cholesterol and triglycerides and other types of nutrients that are commonly in excess in the standard Western or American diet. Because the level of activity that you're doing definitely increases your caloric demands, especially since your body can tend to break down if you don't resupply it with the nutrients you need. I do think that up to a certain point, if you're just a person who is doing the normal level of exercise and the normal dietary changes, it does impact you significantly. But my personal experience with this has been me going through different phases in my life with my fitness and my health and my weight. And I noticed that when I was in high school, for example, as a teenager, I struggled with my weight unless I was exercising several hours a day. It didn't matter how little I ate or what type of food I ate. I would gain weight unless I was moving. And I would do it several hours a day. It also made me feel happier and better, as it does for many people. because it increased my health, my mental health, my confidence. I even am beginning to think I had some hidden medical problems that it alleviated the symptoms for. If I moved a lot and did different disciplines, it just made me happier, right? And it helped my body sort of operate more efficiently, not just in terms of my fitness, but also my, bodily function, my systemic function. And I just don't think necessarily that idea that exercise doesn't help you lose weight or it doesn't help you lose fat. I don't know if that's true. I think it helps your body operate more efficiently. Just my personal experience. And Olympic athletes in particular need somewhere between at least 5,000 to somewhere between 15,000 calories a day, depending on the sport that they are training in. So obviously they're losing pounds of body weight a day, whether it's water or fat, and they're doing it in rapid succession to the point that they must resupply their body with more calories, the kinds of calories that would make the average person put on a lot of weight. Your body is meant to, use your stored fuel and everything. It's how it works. And so I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. And that's relevant and important because it gives me information on what I need to do to properly lose weight. Because I've tried dieting in the past. I've even tried the fad stuff like keto, which is a medical diet. But in my case, I've tried it in the past. I had some success. Nothing ever really stuck. And I learned that, at least for me and my unique needs, I'm never going to keep my weight down unless I'm heavily involved in some kind of physical activity. And because of the health news I got a couple days ago, I now understand that I also need to take better care of my joints and my, connective tissue, which I was already doing, but I stopped for a while. It's the consistency of doing those things every day that's going to help me, not diet. And that's another thing I want to point out is if you hear common advice being applied to everyone and you've tried it and it's not working for you, don't feel bad. Understand that your body has its own unique needs, and we hear that a lot, but it bears repeating. My personal opinion is that it's okay to know that you need something different. Like for me, for example, in terms of diet, actually, I'm learning that I need more of a hunter-gatherer style diet. Everybody says you should eat more grains and more fiber. It's like the common advice, but that doesn't work for everybody. My body doesn't like that stuff. I like it. I love bread, and I have small percentages of that in my diet just for enjoyment, like a little bit of dairy, a little bit of high quality dairy, a little bit of high quality bread, sourdough once in a great while. But my base of my diet is slowly becoming that of a hunter-gatherer, and more in line with my indigenous history and food culture, because I'm Eyak and Dena'ina on my mother's side. And the more I do that, the better I feel. And the more I notice that I start leaning out, because even though I have stalled and even gained back some, I notice that my clothes are still kind of fitting the same and even becoming a bit looser. And it feels like I've dropped a bunch of inflammation. So just keep in mind that conventional advice is nothing more than a guideline. if you set, it's good to just tune into what your body needs. Listen to your instincts. Pay close attention to how your body reacts to certain foods or supplements or activities, and then, keep a journal if you want. I'm going to be journaling my diet every day and going and talking to a nutritionist. And I realize not everyone can go to a nutritionist, but basically just doing a lot of good scientifically based research and then keeping track of how your body reacts to certain things. It could save you a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of pain if you just learn to interpret your body's cravings and signals appropriately. Mindfulness is also helpful. Regulating your nervous system, addressing any sort of mental health concerns that might also be impacting your stress levels or your decision making. I think I might talk a little bit more about how I'm navigating my health journey. I guess some people call it a journey, or the discovery phase that I'm in with my health. Because I've gone through layers of it from like my teen years to now. And it's a slow process for me. And there was some things I just wasn't willing to look at or accept, but the more you ignore those, the worse they can get. So I'm in more of a deeper layer of acceptance in this phase that I'm in, where I'm addressing the problems I'm having so that I can feel better and do the things I want to do more effectively. So, and be a little more structured. I feel like I avoid structure because I'm scared I'll get stressed out, but I actually think that exploring structure in the way I approach weight loss or fitness goals obviously is important, but in my case it's extremely important. And I'd love to share that with you guys in case it helps anybody to ask questions about their own approach to their health and their, fitness and whatever goals they have. It's just a thing that I think I'd like to share, partially for accountability, but also because maybe someone in this little community that we're in will feel comforted or supported by it. So you have a good day, everybody, and I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being here, and for any time that you've liked or commented or shared these videos or even just listened. I appreciate every one of you.